Ụtụtụ ọma, nakwana, ekaro. Welcome to Folk Tales, Languages and History. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. This will help us to make more interesting stories just like the one you just clicked on. In Imo State, Nigeria, at the southeast of Nigeria, was a village called Umerago, where a widower named Chukwuemeka resided. Chukwuemeka had two beautiful and lovely daughters. The first one was Chinyere and the second one was Amarachi. Both of them were beautiful sets of identical twins, but in character they were as different as night was from the day. Chinyere, the younger, was mere minutes away from Amarachi, but possessed a beautiful heart. She was kind and very optimistic. Chinyere was the one who did almost all the house chores and was always happy and had a smile for everyone she met. Her sister Amarachi, however, harbored a jealous streak against Chinyere. Chinyere was so loved by the villagers that they called her the dancing princess. Amarachi, on the other end, did not know how to dance and was very unfriendly, but was always jealous of Chinyere. Amarachi never made any effort to make herself likable or even nice, but spent all her time adorning herself in beads and makeup daily, while Chinyere slaved away, keeping the house clean and taking care of her father. Chukwuemeka, their father, was a farmer. He was also a fisherman, but did it as a side trade. Whenever his carpentry business was down, Chukwuemeka would go to the riverside to catch some fish and sell at the popular Eke market. Chinyere was ever resourceful, embraced her father's teaching of perseverance, gentleness, and kindness. She always had a smile for anyone she met and was kind to everybody. With a resolute heart, she was always close to her father. One day, Chukwuemeka came back and was looking so sad. Chinyere noticed her father was sad and went to meet him to find out what the problem was. Chukwuemeka explained to her and her sister that business was really bad, and if they didn't have any way of getting money, very soon they would find it difficult to eat or clothe themselves. He had decided that his two daughters had to find some work to do to support the family. Chinyere was interested to support her father and looked to her sister Amarachi to hear her own opinion. Amarachi, on the other hand, was not interested in working. She felt work was for anyone beneath her, and she had always hoped to marry a prince so she could escape poverty. Amarachi, on the other hand, requested that she be left to stay at home to take care of the house chores, while Chinyere goes to look for some work to support her father. After some time, Chukwuemeka accepted and told Chinyere to start off the next day to look for a job. The next day, Chinyere prepared herself and came out of the house, walking around looking for something to do. After walking around the village for a while, no one had anything for the young girl to do. She decided to try out the next village. She walked for some time and became very tired. All the food she took from home had finished, and also her water. After walking for a while, she came across a huge tree with dried and broken branches. Suddenly, the tree began to talk. The tree asked Chinyere to help him cut off the old and dead branches and clean around its surrounding, just so he could have more room to grow new branches and produce fruits. Chinyere was very happy to help. Though she was tired, she helped trim the tree, cut up the branches, and set out to get ready to leave. The tree thanked her immensely and promised to repay her act of kindness. Soon, she walked down and still did not find anyone to give her any job. Suddenly, she came across a little billy goat. The goat was very dirty and suddenly asked her for help. Chinyere was surprised that a goat could talk. This was a very strange place. First a talking tree, and now a talking goat. But she agreed to help the goat. She took some water by a stream she saw close by and washed the goat, cleaned it up, and also fetched some water for herself to drink. The goat went close to the stream and looked at itself in its reflection. The goat was so happy. He thanked Chinyere for her help and also promised her that he would repay her kindness very soon. Chinyere was happy and continued on her journey. After some time, she saw the glimpse of a beautiful house close by. It had already become quite dark and she needed a place to stay to avoid being attacked by any vicious animal in the bush. She approached the house and discovered that it was a very beautiful house occupied by an old, rich woman. She greeted the woman. The woman was happy to see another person after such a long time living there alone. The woman asked Chinyere for her help to clean her big house. Chinyere was very happy and told the woman of her desire to get a job so she could support her father. The woman equally said she needed somebody she could pay to help her clean her house consistently, as all her children had grown up and moved out of the house. Chinyere accepted, moved into the house and began cleaning. After some time, the woman called her back and gave her a strict warning. This time, all the smiles on her face had disappeared. She warned Chinyere that she must not open one of the rooms. She had 7 rooms and Chinyere had to clean only 6 rooms. The 7th one was out of bounds. Chinyere accepted and worked diligently for the woman for a whole month, waiting for her salary. At the end of the month, the woman called her and paid her her due wages. The woman asked Chinyere, "My daughter, why have you never opened the door to the room?" And Chinyere answered that she had been taught by her father to respect people's privacy, be kind, generous, and always have a good word for anyone she met. And because of this, she never ventured into the room. The woman was so happy she told Chinyere the whole truth and the secret behind the room. In that room was a magic enchantment that blessed anyone who was kind to the old woman and punished anyone who wasn't. The old woman also promised to make sure Chinyere gets married to the prince of her village because the king was her younger brother. She opened the room and told Chinyere to pick anything of her choice. Chinyere was amazed at the amount of jewels and beautiful ornaments in the room. She picked the one she could, and the woman told her to roll over and pick up any other thing. put some all over her body, and as she stepped out, she began to glimmer. Chinyere was very happy. She took everything the old woman had given to her and quickly started hurrying home. On her way, she met the billy goat. The billy goat gave her a lot of jewels. It was well designed and very beautiful. He handed her over some of the jewels on its horns. Chinyere continued once more, and when she got to where she saw the old, tattered, and broken down tree, she saw that the tree now had sprouted a lot of beautiful grapes, fruits of different kinds, especially udara. The tree gave her some of its fruits in a special bag, and Chinyere continued her way. The tree thanked her so much for helping and gave her that as a reward. Chinyere continued, bouncing joyfully as she went back to her father's house. When she got to her father's house, he was shocked to see his daughter glimmering from head to toe. He welcomed her in, and they all went to their small room where she opened her bag and showed her father and her twin sister everything she had got. Amarachi was surprised, but her surprise suddenly turned to anger and then to jealousy. She questioned why Chinyere should have all the good things every time and she has nothing, even though she felt she was more sophisticated and more beautiful than her sister. She got up suddenly and promised to go and do the same thing, and this time come back with even better reward than her sister. The next day, Amarachi dressed up. She made sure she adorned herself so beautifully and promised everyone that she was going to go to the old woman who had all the beautiful gifts to her and even make sure she marries the prince, even though the old woman had promised that the prince was going to be married to her sister Chinyere. Amarachi set out very early, even before the sun came up. As she went on, she never bothered to look for a job in the village. She continued out of the village looking for the mysterious house in the forest where Chinyere worked. As she moved, she saw the tree, the same tree Chinyere had met on her way to look for a job. The tree was also looking tattered with broken branches and dirt everywhere. The tree called out to Amarachi to help it clean up its surrounding. Amarachi looked at it scornfully with her hands on her hip. She hissed and walked away. The tree was so surprised at her attitude. Amarachi continued walking, and suddenly she met the talking goats. And she said she was shocked at what she heard the goats say. But nevertheless, Chinyere had told her the whole story, so she prepared herself and her answer for the goats. She refused to help the goat clean up itself, hissed and walked away also, just like she did from the tree. Suddenly, she saw the beautiful house. This time, instead of walking, Amarachi ran and started pounding on the door with her fists. "Open the door," she screamed. "Open the door for me. I need to come in. I'm looking for a job." Amarachi cried out. The old woman came out and was surprised to know who was pounding at her door. But she replied politely and asked Amarachi to come into the house. The old woman went in, asked her what she wanted. Amarachi replied that she needed a job for a month because she needed some money to take care of herself. The old woman also gave her the same task she gave to her sister. Amarachi tried to clean the rooms to the best of her ability. Although she did a poor job, the old woman was watching her keenly and never said anything. After some time, her curiosity got the better of her, and she really could not wait to enter the 7th room so she could get her own jewelries. She knew she had been doing a bad job, and she doubted if the old woman was going to allow her take anything or any reward apart from her wages. One day, when she thought the old woman was sleeping, Amarachi sneaked to the 7th room, opened it, and quickly slipped inside in the dark. Instead of seeing all the jewels and the beautiful things that she was told by her sister Chinyere, this time she saw that the room was full of bats, bees, and snakes. Amarachi screamed and screamed for help. After some time, she was able to find the door. She opened it and ran out. She ran to the presence of the old woman, who was already waiting outside for her. The old woman shook her head in disappointment and looked at her with her eyes red in rage. She spoke to Amarachi in a very hard tone and told her to leave immediately before the wrath of the gods fall upon her. The woman was not an ordinary woman. She was a ghost. She had transformed into her real self and chased Amarachi out of the house. She kept chasing her till she got to her village. And when Amarachi got home, Chinyere quickly ran and grabbed her. She took her into the house and made the effort to clean up all her wounds. After a few days, Amarachi got better and told Chinyere the whole story. Chinyere was very sad, but promised to take care of Amarachi when the time comes. After some days, an old woman came to the door, knocked, and Chinyere was so happy when she opened the door and saw that it was the same old woman who gave her all the jewels and all the good things she came home with. This time, Chinyere had become very wealthy and was looking even presentable. The old woman came with the prince just as she promised. She introduced the prince to Chinyere, and immediately the prince set eyes on Chinyere. He fell in love with her instantly. Chinyere was swept off her feet by the handsomeness and gentleness of the prince. She agreed and called her father to meet them at the living room. After some discussion, the prince told the father of his intention to marry the gentle, kind, and hardworking Chinyere. The wedding was fixed for the next market day, and all the arrangements were already being made. Amarachi was eavesdropping from her room. She was so furious and jealous. This time, she never wanted anything good for her sister. All she wanted was to marry the prince and see her sister dead. She sat up all night plotting on what to do to get Chinyere out of the way. After some time, she came up with a brilliant idea. Since Chinyere and her were sisters, and not just that, they were also twins, she could pretend and take Chinyere's place. Once the prince has paid the dowry and has said the words he needs to say and everything has been done for the wedding, then she becomes his wife. At that point, there was no going back. But she had to take Chinyere out of the way for a while so that the prince would think she was Chinyere and marry marry her instead. Amarachi planned that Chinyere should be kidnapped. She made arrangements with some hoodlums in the village who kidnapped her sister the next day and took her far away to the riverside. When the prince came on the day of the wedding, which was the same day, Amarachi had dressed herself up in Chinyere's robes and adorned herself with her jewelries. The prince could not tell the difference. Chikwebuka, their father, asked for the sister who was supposed to accompany Chinyere to the palace. And Amarachi, who was pretending to be Chinyere at this point, told her father that Chinyere had gone to visit her mother's family and would be back to join her after the wedding. The father accepted, and the prince came with his people. The wedding ceremony commenced. While the ceremony was ongoing, Chinyere was at the river crying for help. The old woman heard her cry in the spirit realm and came at once to visit her. At this time, she decided to end the evil of the jealous sister. The old woman came to the event, but came in her real self as a ghost woman. This time she appeared to Amarachi and told her to confess all her evil deeds before her would-be in-laws. If not, she would lose her life. Amarachi, who this time was only able to see the witch because her eyes were opened, had to confess. She was so frightened that she confessed to everything she had done. The prince and the whole villagers were disappointed. Amarachi was banned from the village and sent on exile, and the guards were sent immediately to fetch Chinyere from the riverside. They brought her back and the wedding commenced. The whole village was agog with celebration at the unity of both villages in marriage. Amarachi was sent on exile and she lived in the forest for a long time until she passed on. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, please like, share and subscribe our content, and see you on our next video. Bye.